And a little bit of background about me so you understand where I come from. I did everything I was supposed to do growing up. You know, went to high school, went to college, got my degree, worked for corporate America, worked for General Motors Aerospace Arm of General Motors, and then went into IT management consulting. So I was making a good six-figure income, taking about 8 pills a day for stomach stress, and doing what I was told to do in life. I got married, I had a house, had everything I was supposed to have. But between my health issues and the stress, and there was something missing in my life, I knew I had to make a change. Now, the divorce wasn't because of this midlife crisis change. We just kind of grew apart. But I begged it off, to my parents' dismay, six-figure income, and I went to massage school. And I started my journey to figure out my body, my health, because I knew I had to make a change because my stomach issues were so bad. I was on the road to a bad situation. So I packed everything in my car at the age of 30, and I moved to Boulder, Colorado when it was still a hippie town. And I went to massage school. And ultimately, 18 years later, as I drove across the country crying, going, I just want to make a difference in one person's life. This was actually the day after 9/11, I'll never forget. So I knew there was a lot of change that needed to be made. So fast forward, 18 years later, I'm here in practice. I've been practicing massage therapy for 18 years. So I'm a student of the body and the mind. As I've become quite efficient in figuring out the body, but then it was the mind. The mind what causes all the stress in my client's body and my body itself. And also when I work on a client, I can't be thinking, oh man, I can't believe what that person did to me, because you know their massage might get really deep, you know, I can't believe that. Or I really gotta go to the grocery store and I gotta do this and that, you know. So I'm really not being present with my clients, and that's not fair to them. If I'm not 100% present with them, then you know, I'm just going through the motions. And this is after years of, you know, working in the industry. So then it came to, how do I quiet these thoughts that keep popping in my head? We all have them, right? Everyone, your mind just doesn't stop racing. So what I started doing is actually doing a lot of research, doing a lot of studying, been to retreats, and it's addressing the mind and the thoughts that come to me. The thoughts that come to you are actually your mind's interpretation of the present event based on past events in your life, past beliefs. Everything you've learned up until this point, your mind is using to interpret what it's looking at, okay? So all your present moment is interpreted by past events. It can't look into the future. So that's something to think about. So that's what brings me to this point, is to, when the pause, breathe, perceive, the 3 words came to me, I was like, wow, that's really powerful. Huh. And then I told my friend Christine Judd, a lot of you know her, she's like, oh, that's really good. And we were like 2 little girls that had to share this big secret. So a year later, we have matriculated into a whole business, and we're hoping to spread the simple word of how mindfulness can change your health, figure out who you are, who you have been up until this point, who you want to be going forward. They always say change your mind, change your life, but how? You can read all the books you want, but I don't know if you're like me, you close that book, you forget everything you do, and you're back into that subconscious world, right? Or you go to a retreat, it's great, you're a changed person, you come back to your regular life, you're back into that regular routine you're in. So with the pause, breathe, proceed, working on a daily basis, and surrounding yourself with people who are doing the same thing, you will change your life, you'll unclutter your mind, you'll understand your thoughts, and that's how you change and find the peace that you want to find. So today we have half an hour to learn how to unclutter our mind, make room for creativity and imagination, know your true self, and find your peace. That's a lot to do, so if you just pick up little tidbits here and there, that's the power. This is just touching the surface of what pause, breathe, proceed is capable of, but we appreciate you coming out for the interest and starting the journey with us, okay? With the pause, breathe, proceed, the big key is the pause. The pause is an ancient thing, it's nothing new, we didn't create that. But when you find yourself reacting or responding, if you can catch yourself, that pause is when you can change that neuron from firing this way. Okay, we've always done it this way. All of a sudden when you pause, that neuron's like, whoa, wait a minute, hey, we got a new direction, we're gonna go this way. That's huge, because your mind, your subconscious mind is in such a routine, it just keeps going this way. So when you catch yourself, you can go, oh, wait a minute, I want to go this way. So the pause, that's why the pause is powerful. The breath is powerful because it can calm the central nervous system. It can bring you back to center, because as soon as you go to react, your stress response, your fight, flight, or freeze mode gets going, right? Oh my gosh, I gotta do this. Well, that causes a lot of chemical reactions in your body. And so what the breath does, and this is really cool because the Navy SEALs and all the special forces use the breath to calm their central nervous system, because you can imagine the stress they're under and all around them, okay? We do a little quick exercise. If you put your hand on your chest and your hand on your heart, take a few breaths. Do you feel your breath more in your belly, or do you feel your breath more in your chest? If you feel your breath more in your chest, that's more reactive mode, more fight, flight, or freeze, more you're ready to do something, your body's a little bit on high alert. The trick we want to get to is belly breathing. So when we do our pause, we breathe from our belly. And I tell people we breathe from all four directions. Once you start concentrating on your breath, you can expand that breath. What that belly breath tells the vagus nerve to tell the brain to calm that whole central nervous system down. And then you can come from a different place. Okay? And we'll talk about that in a minute. So those are our baselines, the pause and the breathe, and then the proceed. In order to understand why your mind's cluttered, you need to understand a little bit about your mind. Your mind is like a computer. Okay, this is all programmed. If I turn it on, it's going to do something. It'll run Microsoft Office. It'll do all these great things. So that's been programmed. I have a backup right here. I can add more data, more programs on. So I can really program. This is my old computer. I ran out of space. I upgraded. Finally, after 10 years, I bought a new one. But we can't do that with our brain. This is the only thing I have time for a brain. So this is our brain. And they say by the age of 30, you're about 95 to 99% programmed, and we're going to talk about what that means. But you have all these programs running in the background in your mind. From the age of 7 under, you believe everything you're told, everything you see, your whole environment gets absorbed into this brain, and all these neurons are firing. Okay? As you get older, you make choices on how this brain's going to fire. And as you make those choices, those are the programs that are going to run and fire when that situation happens again. So we have a whole computer now. It's getting pretty full. And then, phone. Do you have a phone? This is a key thing too. It came to me at 3 in the morning, and we're going to talk about monkey mind. Well, guess what? All of a sudden, we added another program system. We can tap into our brain. Okay, so we can run even more programs with our brain. And so now, not only are we overloaded, can you imagine what the kids' minds are like? Their programs, they have so much coming at them. When we grew up, we would program, but we'd run outside and we'd play and we'd scream and we'd yell. We'd get a lot of that energy out. But if you have the kids, all that information coming at them, you add a cell phone with all the apps going on. Look at all those programs running in their head. Well, we're going to talk about how all that creates chemical reactions in their bodies, and they don't know what to do. So they're overloaded. That came to me. So 3 in the morning. So that's how the brain is like a computer. You have a subconscious mind running in the background, and you have the conscious mind, which is you. It's your programmer. You can program this, okay? The subconscious mind is so powerful. You know, you'll be driving home, you get home, you're like, wow, how did I make it home? The mind knew how to do it, because your body knows how to do it. You become your body. When you start pausing and making that conscious choice to do something differently, guess what? You're breaking that program. You're changing that program. And how to unclutter your mind. The reason why your mind gets so cluttered is these programs take up a lot of space because they take so many different repetitions and things that are combined together to make that program. I'm going to explain to you, when you decide to go from this to love, bam, shorter program. You've created a whole lot of space. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So how is our subconscious mind? What are all these programs running in the background? Well, we're told what to think by our parents, our pastors, our friends, everything our upbringing teaches us. We believe that's all those programs. Everything my mom and dad told me, I have all these thoughts in my head, okay? Generation, this is a big one. You can never judge someone from a different generation because they're growing up in a whole new world and receiving a whole lot of different information than we did. My grandparents came up through the Depression. Grandma used to hide money because she knows what it's like to live without food. My mom did that. Well, I did it too. and I didn't really know why, but my mom did it, so I did it. And I told my husband, I said, there's a little jar with some money in there. I'm not trying to run away from you at some point, but that is why in my mind, I still brought forward those generational beliefs. And so at some point, I had to pause and say, do I even believe that anymore? Is this a concern for me? No, not really, and the money went in the bank. But that was a program I had to break. So I have all these programs running in the background. Society, well, our society, you watch the news and you can walk away little negative, depending on what news you watch. Or society, what they tell you, oh, you got wrinkles, you need this product because you don't want wrinkles, so you're going to have to. So then I have this belief that, oh my God, I have wrinkles, I have to buy this product. So if we don't start understanding how our mind works, how the programs work, I guarantee you there's billions of dollars going into figuring out how to create beliefs in your mind to sell you products, right? Okay, so now, and then culture. I was just talking how in South Africa, they might walk 2 hours to get to a place. Can you imagine? I was thinking, oh, I gotta get to Petoskey, I gotta start walking now. It's just where we grow up. Gives us different beliefs and thoughts in our head, and which all these beliefs affect us. What we say, what we think, what you hear, and what we do. So if you pause a minute, I might say something to you, and you might hear something differently because of the way your mind works. No two people will ever be the same. We'll never think alike, we'll never be alike, we'll never say the same things. Because in my mind, it might be one thing, and in your mind, it's something. Come on, men and women right there. How much different can you get, okay? So now we see how the brain is a supercomputer. It's overloaded. We can't buy a new one. We're programmed with all these subconscious beliefs. Some are good, some are not so good. Some are expired, some aren't, okay? The monkey mind, why isn't the monkey mind ever a beautiful thing? Like a waterfall or a sunset. 3 in the morning, I was like, okay, you got to do this presentation. Are you good enough? Blah, blah, blah. And then my mind went to those medicines on the TV that will calm me down, and I'm like, stop. So when your monkey mind starts racing, you have the choice. They're your thoughts. And thoughts are energy. And energy can change form. So what I did, because it was so loud, because I've already gotten to the point where I can address those and quiet them, I just went, okay, I don't believe you. I'm not going to fail. I'm not going to stutter. I'm going to go from the presentation to superstar. Look what a small program that was. I went right to sleep. Look. Oh my God, I got to get these meds. I'm going to fail. People aren't going to understand. I have too much to say. It's not going to flow right. No, sorry. Presentation, superstar. Shorter program, I fell asleep. Okay? A lot of times I'll use, visions too. A good way to calm your thoughts. This is how I started. As thoughts come up, just pause and breathe. And take a big inhale, exhale. Remember, it's energy. It's stuck energy in your body. I'm not feeling very pretty today. I feel awesome. You have the choice to own your thoughts and change your life. Easy? No, it's a journey. But I promise you at the end, you will unclutter your life. You'll change your life for the positive. And everyone around you. And so you keep repeating if something comes up. When I'm working on a client, if something comes up, I got to make dinner. No. I connect in. I'm really present with what I'm doing, what that person needs, what's the temperature of their body, what knots am I feeling? Because then I'm 100% mindful. If you can't quiet the mind, go for a walk. Wow, look how green those, okay. Look how much snow is on that tree. Be very, very sharply present, and then you'll find your thoughts are changing. So that's how you can start controlling your thoughts. Some tools to quiet the monkey mind. Humming. Humming's a great way to create a different vibration in your head. It quiets those thoughts. Those thoughts can't go anywhere because you're Now when you're sleeping, and your husband's next to you sleeping, breathing. 3 in the morning, You hear that breath? Concentrate. Be focused on something so much that the thoughts can't go anywhere. Because they're your thoughts. You're changing that energy from those thought patterns to a quiet, consistent thought pattern. Mantra is powerful. I am strong. And if you're feeling weak, I am strong. So not only what that does is two things. One, it gives you the word, power of the word, and power of intention. So not just the vibration of the sound, but the intention of the sound. Okay, and that's huge. Okay. And then music without words. I never play music in a massage because music takes you back when, right? It reminds you of a guy you dated 20 years ago, or an event you had. Music and smell, sound and smell takes you quickly back into where your brain can recall those memories. So you want to play music that is just quieting to your body and your soul. And then imagery. A lot of times I'll be in a lavender field, and I'll be laying in a lavender field, and I'll really concentrate on that, and then I can change those thoughts. Those thoughts quiet down, because the more you start not listening to your thoughts, the easier it will get. But it's step by step. So the monkey mind is all the chaos, the little monkeys chattering in your mind. You own them. You can choose if they're going to talk or not. Okay. So let's wrap it, bring it back around. We're hardwired. We're running programs in the background of our mind, our subconscious. We run an autopilot quite often, and through years of beliefs, through years of programming, good, bad, ugly. It's just the way we're raised. But it's all in your mind. It's all in your control. You have the power to change your mind, and this is your God-given right of free will. We're given the blessing to change our mind, to change our life. And we're going to change it towards positivity, and I'll show you that in a minute here. This is a huge one. Thoughts and emotion. This is why the stress response causes health issues in our body. Like I said, I've had gut issues my whole life. Well, when I have a thought, that thought triggers a chemical reaction in my body. And that chemical reaction is called an emotion. Okay? So if I think that person called me ugly and I'm angry, so I got an emotion. Well, that emotion, then if I'm angry, 5 days later, that anger can trigger that emotion, that thought again, and I'm ugly again, but then, how the mind works, now I'm really ugly because, this, that, and I have a big zit on my face, and so the mind spirals, we go down the rabbit hole, and the chemical makeup in our body changes if we're thinking negative thoughts. And that's where gut issues happen, or health issues, eczema, stress, worry. It comes out in chemical forms because of our thoughts. Okay. Chemical reactions can be good or bad. Maybe I'm thinking that lavender field. I can tell you my body's happy when I think about that, right? They are stored in your body. After 18 years of body work, some of the work I do is to get those energies out. That's a big issue with people coming back from the military, PTSD. That's energy stuck in their body that we need to help them get out, okay? And they can grow or disappear. Remember, you own your thoughts. You can empower your thoughts to grow and do that vicious cycle, or you can say, no, I don't believe you. I am beautiful. I am gorgeous. And that's your thought process. It's interesting. I went to my GI doc, and I said, Doc, help me understand. I said, thoughts create the chemical reactions, and those chemical reactions cause stress in the body. I go, why don't we tell people these things so they can understand how their minds and their stress actually cause the problems in their body? And he smiled and he said, I love what you're doing. You definitely have a niche, but I can't charge for that. And a lot of people don't want to know how to do it with their minds. They want the meds, okay? And so we're going to start to see some changes. There's two ways we can respond when something comes up. We can react or we can respond. Reactions are due to a trigger and that has been programmed into our body, a response, or a reaction. So when something triggers us, someone says, you're stupid. When you were young, you're stupid. So your initial thought throughout your whole life might be, I'm not as smart as everyone else, okay? So that's your automatic reaction. And then it creates stress and vulnerability because that's your defensive, that's what you know. And so your Your reaction, come on, God. So your reaction is going to be you're always going to feel that way. But this was big. And then your responses, if you go to respond, if you can pause, just go ahead and flip all those. So if someone triggers you then, and if you start learning how to catch yourself from reacting, if you can catch yourself, someone tells you you're ugly, you're like, oh, wait a minute. Whoa, I'm about to react here. I'm going to pause a minute. Why does that make me angry? So I'm going to be aware that something's going on inside of me. I'm going to pause, I'm going to breathe, I'm going to bring that central nervous system, I'm going to think about it. Oh, someone told me that when I was a child, and I choose not to believe it anymore. My central nervous system, I'm reprogramming myself now, and I'm going to proceed knowing that that wasn't true. So we have the ability to change what we thought, what we were told as truth, to what we truly believe in the now. And that's powerful, because you've been told what to think your whole life. And you've accepted certain truths to be true. You can decide how you, as a person now, want to go forward. Because I guarantee you, you're not the same person you were 10 years ago. Okay? Let's see. So, real quickly, questions to ask yourself. Do you react or respond? Do your words come from your heart, your mind, your ego? Go ahead, flip them all over. Your gossip, media, emotions. Where do your thoughts come from? Where do you react from? When someone cuts you off, in the car, are you about ready to, hit that horn? Or do you have that pause, brake, proceed sticker on your steering wheel and you're like, I love you. I am in no hurry at all. I got plenty of time. I mean, it does reprogram you. I was in my husband's truck and I'm like, I took a wrong turn. I'm on a dirt road and I'm like anxious and I looked down and I saw that he didn't have a sticker because he'd kill me. But I just saw it on the steering wheel and I was like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Look at this dirt road. And I got to where I'm going, but I'm so used to being in such a hurry. You can choose to change, and we're going to give you reminders. We're going to give you stickers and bracelets and ways to start catching yourself, okay? And always respond with love. At the end of the day, just find the positive, and we'll talk about it. Oh, look, this is my favorite. Positivity. The art of pausing when faced with negativity to become optimistic or positive in attitude. This is great because my girlfriend from New York, and I was telling her about this pause, brake, proceed. I'm like excited about it, and she goes, so let me get this straight. Positivity. I'm so using that. So positivity, pause, be positive. There's always a positive in every situation. Sometimes it's hard to find. Sometimes you leave it to faith that it was meant to be. But if you can pause and always find that positivity, I promise you, as you do this throughout your day, throughout your life, you will become a more positive person. Your energy will change. And people around you will be like, hey, what's up with her? So be positive. Pause and positivity, okay? So this is where the pause, breathe, proceed process comes in. Pause, breathe, proceed on a physical level. When you pause, it stops that stress response from firing and keeps that chemical reaction under bay. And you can choose to not kick off all those emotions in your body, all that chemical reaction in your body and physical. Mentally, you're rewiring your brain. When you pause and breathe, you're going to rewire the neurons in your brain to respond differently. It's your choice, finally. This is how you can choose your life. Emotionally, you respond and you say a bad word to someone, you're going to feel bad later, so don't do it. If you, sometimes reacting feels really good too. And Christine and I will catch ourselves and be like, hey, pause. We're like, I don't want to pause right now. I just want to get it out because I'm right. It's all about me. But at the end of the day, it's not. If you pause and you actually take time to look at the person in that other situation, the person across from you, you go, oh, you're probably having a bad day too, aren't you? Okay, let's just pause and be nice to each other instead of me reacting and getting my point across. And then socially, we are so guarded, we are so reactive that we don't pause to look at people anymore. We don't pause to consider people. So on a social level, we are creating community again. When I bump into someone, I'm like, Or do I bump and say, oh man, I'm really sorry. You know, are you okay? How you doing today? You know, we need to start breaking down those social walls. So the pause, break, receive process, quite simple. Pause. Are you going to react or respond? Let's respond. We're going to pause and go, oh, wait a minute. We're going to breathe. We're going to understand the why. We're going to calm our central nervous system, and then we're going to proceed in love versus hate. Okay? This is how we're going to start realizing this. Okay? The 3 steps of kindness, the logo itself, pause, black negativity with an empty heart. You're going to pause. So we created the logo to be a visual thing. When you breathe, you're going to bring that love into your heart and calm that central nervous system. You're going to proceed with a red heart full of love. Okay? So every time you see your stickers, every time you see your bracelets, you're going to know exactly what to do. We're programming you. We're subconsciously programming you. But in a good way. Okay? This is one of our favorite sayings. This is Einstein. I fear the day that technology will surpass our human interaction. The world will have a generation of idiots. And I know you all know, if you have kids, grandkids, anyone in your life, the technology has taken over. And they don't know how to do a lot of things because technology does it for them. I love this guy. We all know that person. The person who's become their technology. Remember, the phone is now an extension of people's bodies. It's extra programs that they can run. So instead of, my peeve, they go to a restaurant and they're like this, like hello. My husband did that to me once. Never again. I got a shopping spree the next day. And a nice dinner. Once. So we need to learn to slow down, pause. Just slow down, look around. You know, as you start doing the pause, breathe, proceed, you will start slowing down. I walked into a hotel downstate, and normally you're walking like this, you're walking through the airport, you know, you're focused on you. So downstate, as you start to pause, my friend Christine says, once you know the pause, you can't unknow it. You can't pretend you don't know it. I'm walking in, this old couple's unloading their car. Hey, let me help you. You know, let me help you, because I became aware of that person being there, because I was paused, I'm more aware. I'm slowing down. The eyes are the window to the soul. When someone walks into my office, I can look them in the eyes, and I can have a pretty good idea what's going on with them. It's like music in a movie. The eyes relay the emotions, but we don't look at each other's eyes anymore, do we? So look into the eyes, feel their story, and listen with your heart. Be present with them. Make them feel important. Otherwise, you're going to make them feel unheard and unappreciated. How often does that happen? You're talking to someone and you're looking at ways to either cut their story off, cut them off, change the story, because you don't have time. But you know what the difference is? Is make that eye contact, give that heart love. We need to start making those connections again. You know, be aware of your surrounding. Pause, look around, who needs taking care of? We don't do that much anymore. You know, the smallest gesture can make the biggest difference. To reach out with your hand. I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples. If we all start doing this, and we all start making that change, then this world will be different. You can change your life for positivity, and those around you, they'll feel it. You are the author of your life. Make choices, not excuses. I'm giving you a way to create a positive life. It's your choice how you go forward with it. You can react or respond. You can be kind, you can be positive. Always be kind, always be true. Practice the pause. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to wrap it up and bring it back around. How to unclutter the mind. Now we understand that our mind is running software programs in the background. We are the coder of those programs. We can pause and we can reprogram. We can change them and go from here to superstar. Once we get all those programs, they're old and done. Some are still good. Keep the ones that are good, keep the ones that aren't. So we understand the brain. So to unclutter it, we're going to reprogram our brain. And we're going to breathe, and we're going to make the space by every time every thought that comes up, every time we react, when we're talking to somebody, we learn a lot about ourselves. Our reactions tell us a lot about our younger self. And so that's how you start learning the programs that are running in your mind, is your reactions. Like, oh, wow. And otherwise, we get right back into that subconscious programming. Okay? So it's the pause and the breath. And and be aware of your thoughts. It's not easy, but once you start doing it, you can't undo it. You'll be like, oh, and a lot of people won't get it, but that's okay, keep doing it, because now that I've made the space, so the monkey mind, 3 in the morning, I was like, wow. And then I went superstar, and then all of a sudden, these thoughts come to me. And I'll call my buddy Christine, she'll be like, oh God, here we go again. But it's because I've opened the space for my mind to think forward, because the brain doesn't think forward, it always thinks backwards, okay? So open that mind, you'll find your peace, because you're being positive in all situations. And creativity, imagination, and you'll find out who you are up to the state, and you can change to who you want to be. All right, so before we answer any questions, let's do one more thing. Let's shake hands again with our hearts and our eyes and be real intention. So thank you for coming. It was so nice to see you. It feels differently, doesn't it? Make that eye contact. Come on, come on. I want to make that eye contact. Take that moment. Be present with someone. Thanks, Tom. Thanks for coming. It feels differently, doesn't it? You're being present with someone, right? Come on. It's taking that pause, making that eye contact, finishing the story. That's important. It's not easy for everyone. Well, thank you very much for coming. Thank you for listening to me ramble. I can ramble on neuroscience and stuff forever. Does anyone have any questions for me today? No? No questions? Okay. We're going to have giveaways, so you're going to get bracelets and stickers so you can have reminders around your house. We're going to have more presentations throughout the community and at our shop. And we're always here for questions. We have a great Facebook, Instagram, and all that. All the posts that are on there, they come to me, and I consider them a blessing. Okay. Anything? Yes, please.
Where is your shop?
I have a nice massage, healthy store in between the smoke shop and Little Caesars. Over on the strip mall, on the other side of Glenn's.
Oh, you're right. Near you, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, lucky her. That's how we met. I'd be, come over. You want to be my friend? You want to be my friend? She's like, oh my gosh, okay. So yeah, she's sort of. We know most people either by their dogs or by the massage. So yeah, that's kind of how we became friends. Any other questions?
So
How do we go
daily doing this now?
We're going to give you, so daily you want the reminders, and that's what's critical. You're going to have the bracelets to always wear it to go, okay? And every time you pause, grab the bracelet, because that becomes a biofeedback thing. So every time you're going to grab the bracelet, you're going to pause. Put the stickers around. I have stickers on my phone, my laptop, my computer. I have them everywhere. So then you see them because we programmed you what to think as soon as you see them, right? So yeah, that's how you do it. And you talk to us, and come to our meetings, and we're going to keep up, having ways to think, because it's just a huge thing. It's a huge change, but it's powerful.
Like I say, you get it ready to go off, feeling good, you know what,
Yep.
but then as soon as you go out the door, it's like, somebody pulls you off, it's like, you're right back.
Put the sticker on, have the reminders. The difference between us and the classes and the books is we have the reminders. And we have the posts and everything, and we're not going to stop. But put the stickers everywhere until you start creating that habit, okay? And so on that steering wheel, yours, I think you need one.
I drive a bus for a living.
Oh, you need two. You need a few on the kids' foreheads, probably.
No, I have the older kid.
Oh, good.
I don't have kids.
Okay, good.
But that gives you things you would never know, because I have the ones that are down and out, and I have the ones who are disabled, and the ones that need a little extra. I've carried more groceries in my time.
How wonderful that is, Because at the end of the day, everyone's got good in them. And when you start doing the pause where you proceed, and you find that goodness within everyone, it changes your heart. And, to have that ability, I've been in service for 18 years for people, and I'm so grateful to be able to help people. To me, that's the most valuable, a service, is to be a service to help people.
Do you find it frustrating though if nobody else around you wants to bother?
Because truly it is, and I, I've become that change, and there are a lot of people that, around me that don't want to do this, that's okay. I'm gonna pause, I'm gonna be kind to you. I'm gonna be kind to you because you might not have even had kindness in your life, but I'm gonna be that person that's gonna show you the kindness. And, something will spark in there. You don't know where they've come from. You don't know how they were raised. You can never judge anyone, right? All right. Any other questions?
Just a comment
Oh.
for y'all. Down at lunchtime, you're getting a packet that kind of summarizes a lot of this, but tell them about your blog, because if they leave their email, there are things that they could get from you, right? Correct?
Yeah, you'll get information on our presentations around town, as with emails. If it's okay with you guys, you'll never be flooded with emails, I promise you that. And we'll have a table set up. We also did create a brain journal. And what the brain journal is we got this great presentation together and someone goes, okay, what's next? And we're like, I have no idea. I don't know what's next. We have reminders. The brain journal is a beautiful journal. It's not just a journal, it gives you something different to do every day or every week, however long it takes you to do. You start in the morning and it gives you a task. It might be that day, listen to someone's story the whole way without thinking about something else. It might be hard. You might do that, throughout the week. So it gives you different ways to start changing your life for the positive. So it's not a true journal book. It's changing your mind, reprogramming your brain to kindness and ways to think differently that we don't go down and do. And all that will be out on the table. I gotta go. I'm getting yelled at. Okay. So remember the brain. Bye, everybody. I see those two back there going. Told you I could talk all day on this topic.
Do you want the microphone or you want to talk with that?
I'll try talking. And
Okay,
see
if you can't hear, we'll switch over
Okay.
to the microphone.
It does not make your bubble bigger.
I do not do well, so I got the monkey brain going.
Oh,
I keep
yeah.
thinking because
Pause and breathe.
I've told Pastor Beth many times I don't public speak, so the monkey brain is going. So I'm going to talk about essential oils, and I don't sell them, I just love them. So